Okay, guys, response to the environment by humans. My name is Mr. Mpepu. Today's date 18 April 2024, Thursday, and the time there 4 minutes past 12. With that being said, guys, Sanbonani, Dumelani, Afsheni, hello, nda, guys, to all corners of South Africa and Africa Kabupara. Today, I personally welcome you to my class or to my session, Learning Life Science with Mr. Mpepu. Today we'll be dealing with peripheral nervous system divided into two systems, which will be somatic and will be concentrating at autonomic nervous system. And then after this, we'll incorporate a practical investigation on this lesson here today. So stay tuned. Those who are subscribing, be subscribing, and those who are liking, those who are commenting, comment guys. I would like to see those comment popping on. Last time I checked, we were at positive 75 subscribers. Let me appreciate those subscribers, guys. 75 subscribers, and as you have been following me since day one, we started this the 18th of March, and today the 18th of April here, marking our 1 month full cycle. Happy birthday to us, guys. Happy birthday to us. 75 subscribers, we are still adding. While those who are subscribing, and while those who are new here subscribing, and while those who are commenting, those who are liking, let me have this moment and wish myself or wish this bus of ours. Okay, thank you. While we are talking about the bus of ours, here's the thing: those who are commenting, comment, guys. Here's our bus. African transcribers life sciences online class. You can subscribe here, or you can enter the video while you are watching the video, and then you can come and subscribe. After subscribing, notification all, and then after that you press that like there, you see, and then maybe you go there and comment, let's say hashtag 2024, and then you comment, right? Then that's it. Now I'll come back and reply to your comment with a like, or with another comment, right? Responding to as you can see, we still have 3 notification there. I haven't responded to those notifications, so after this video, make sure that your notification it is answered. So guys, thank you for being here again. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So let's move on, right? Today we are still moving on, although we are marking our 18th birth month there, our 1 month birthday. So we can be excited. Welcome guys. Thank you. Appreciating those 75 subscribers, and also you who are new here, subscribe, guys. Subscribe. So you'll agree with me, my fellow South Africans, or my fellow students, or my colleagues in this journey of ours, or you understand, agree. Those who are following me here, let's recap, Nyana, since it's our birthday kind of thing, right? Let's recap. We still remember that back there we said this will be a train, Shosholoza, you understand? Just get in, just have your seat, sit there, subscribe while you are buying your ticket, learn life science with us, and then Shosholoza is still going. Yes, the track line is Yahamba from Cape to Cairo, guys. Since we are still dealing with South African education, or since we are still here, let's just keep it slow. From Western Cape to Messina. Those who are from Western Cape, shout out to you. Eastern Cape, Western Cape, KwaZulu Natal, Mpumalanga, Gauteng, Free State, Limpopo, Northwest, all corners of South Africa. Hashtag your province there. Let's see if you are watching us. Hashtag your province. Go there to this. I will also come and hashtag my province, or hashtag all the provinces that we have, where now you will go and like, or what do we call, like or react on the province that you are representing, right? So okay, fine, let's move on. Responding to the environment. If you still remember that we did a introduction of responding to the environment, and we said that this responding to the environment is being controlled by 2 systems, which will be the endocrine system, will do it week 8, and also a human nervous system here, right? So this nervous system here, This covers everything up until here, right? A human eye and a human ear. We are going to have week 6, we are going to have week 7. Next week, next week, we'll be dealing with human eye and human ear. These are the receptors. Since now you can understand now, if you are following me, when I say these are the receptors, you understand now. We are using an information that we learned on Monday, that we have the receptor. The receptor is going to recept a certain thing and turn it into a stimuli, and then it will recept a stimuli, turn it into an impulse, and then send that impulse to the central nervous system, which can be a brain or the spinal cord. Right there you can see we did that when we are doing a central nervous system. When we talked about, we are saying that this central nervous system, or this human nervous system of ours, is divided into two. We have central nervous system and we have peripheral system. If you still remember, we concluded, or we agreed, that we are going to do peripheral and autonomic nervous system on Thursday. Today is Thursday, today is the day we are going to do this. So at the end of today's lesson, you will be able to differentiate between the peripheral and autonomic. Here, I think they did a mistake, or they're just saying that we have to consider under peripheral system, we have to consider it under autonomic system. But you can, at the end of today, you should be able to determine, or to tell us, or to briefly explain, or to briefly give an outline that we have a human nervous system. This human nervous system is divided into two, which will be the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. This peripheral system here is divided also into two parts, which will be the sensory nervous system and the motor neuron. This motor nervous system. This motor nervous system is also divided into two, which will be an autonomic nervous system and a somatic nervous system. This autonomic one is also divided into two. This will be sympathetic and parasympathetic. So today you should be able to outline whatever I outlined there, starting with a nervous system. Right, and then central nervous system. In central nervous system we have the brain and the spinal cord. Right, if you still remember, we said that we have a central nervous system like this. This will be the central nervous system, and here can be the brain or the spinal cord. Right, you can have the brain or spinal cord, and then we will have the receptor here recepting a stimuli and sending this. Now you understand what we call these wires. Right, you understand that if you are following me on my series of this learning life science, then we'll know that impulse there is going to be passed into our spinal cord or our brain. Right, it's going to be passed to the interneuron. We see another name of interneuron there. From interneuron is going to be passed to the motor neuron, and then we are going to see that impulse now leaving the central nervous system, going to affect an organ or a tissue or a gland, which will be our effector. Right, so now we understand that if we can come and cut this system here, we have two systems. We have the system where we are interpreting everything, and we have the system that is bringing everything. I talked about this on our series, or if you missed this, go back and watch. Right, so we said that we can cut this system here into two, and this system here, we call it a nervous system. Right, this nervous system is comprised of a central nervous system and a peripheral system. Today we are going to learn the peripheral system and its divisions. Right, the peripheral system, these are the neurons outside of a central nervous system. Since you know that our central nervous system is made out of a brain and a spinal cord, that is the center. That is where everything is being interpreted. While we see in a peripheral nervous system, there is no interpretation. It's either the message is being taken from a receptor to the central nervous system, or a message or impulse is moving from central nervous system to the effector. That's what we see under peripheral nervous system. Right, so we did our nerves and reflex arc yesterday, learning this process here, that this simple process here in a explained and a understandable manner, like in a more detailed explanation. If you missed this, go back and watch my previous videos. Right, this part here. So okay, it's fine. We explained this in a full form yesterday, even the connectors. Wow, what are these connectors formed, and how do we differentiate these connectors? If you still remember, we said the sensory neuron is going to have the protruding body like this, entering the spinal cord via the dorsal root, and then the motor neuron will see it. It's going to collect a neurotransmitter inside the central nervous system, and then we are going to see the axon passing the impulse, with these axons being myelinated. We talked about this, guys. We talked about this. Right, this was our backup, right? Our previous knowledge, prior knowledge, before we can come now and talk about peripheral nervous system. So 10 minutes. So you see, if I want to do these videos in 10 minutes, I can break these videos in less than 10 minutes, but these are the full class videos. You will have to understand this is a full class. We have people like Bo Veleleni Nkosi, we have people like Bo Ilembele teacher in TikTok, we have people like Bo this one Bo Radebe, Bo Mangmang, right? We have those people who are teaching life science, but I came up with an idea of how about we give you a full class, a full detail of what you have to learn while it's being reduce, right? You know, those who are in TikTok, they're going to reduce this information to a 10 seconds or 10 minutes time frame, right? Those who are in YouTube, some of them, they can teach this in a 10 minutes, reducing all information into a 10 minutes time frame, right? Now we said we agree that we are going to spend at least 1 hour per day covering an information, as much as information that we can get or we can share with you guys. So today you should be able to differentiate what is happening at peripheral nervous system. So we can go, right? Thank you for hanging around. Thank you for tuning in. You could be doing something else, guys. You could be chilling out with your friends, drinking, smoking, whatever, girls, gossiping, whatever, right? So but you choose to be here, so I appreciate you. Welcome, guys. Feel free, let me relax now. Today, Thursday, right? We are going to deal with peripheral nervous system. After this peripheral system, you have to know the location, and you have to know the functions only, right? Where is this peripheral nervous system located, and what is this peripheral functioning? What is it that is happening in this peripheral system, right? At this moment, you know peripheral system, it is transmitting information to the central nervous system, and it also transmitting information from central nervous system to the effector. That is the function. Locate. These are the nerves outside the spinal cord and the brain, right? And then from there, you should be able to learn under this peripheral system, we have a system called autonomic nervous system, which is the part of peripheral nervous system. And then this one is also divided into two. You are going to learn this today, right? Location and function. And then from our CAPS document, we see that we also have to cover a practical year by design and investigation to determine the reaction of time of different learners to a stimuli, right? We are going to cover this. And then they also need us to have a practical way we are opening a sheep skull and observing or the brains there, the cerebellum, cerebrum, the spinal cord, you understand those parts while we are seeing them live. Do you understand? Just that maybe it's just that we don't have our labs, right? If maybe we have our labs, I was going to buy a sheep head and then come back here and go live while I'm cutting that sheep head and you viewing that thing live, right? So but unfortunately, we'll just have to use our imagination of our brain that we once eaten from a chicken's head. Most of us will have eaten chicken head. If you haven't eaten a chicken head, upila tape, you are living a luxurious life. If you haven't eaten a chicken head, right? Or if you don't know when or a chicken head, we can eat it. My guy. I appreciate you are the most privileged individuals in this South Africa. So okay, fine with that. Let's come to our class here. We have a peripheral nervous system. Today we are learning this, right? This marks I did them yesterday, if you still remember, and then we said that Friday we are going to do the disorders of the central nervous system. But today we are going to deal with peripheral nervous system, and this peripheral location and function same as our CAPS. And then we also have to know that there's a difference between the cranial and the spinal nerves, right? These peripheral nerves, we have this peripheral nervous system, right? We have the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves, those who are going out and those who are coming in. So cranial nerves are those that are connected to our skull, or those that are controlling activities in our skull. I'm still going to explain this. And then the spinal nerves, these are the nerves that are collecting receptors and bringing out these are the one that are collecting the stimulus, and the other one that are taking out the stimulus or the impulse via the motor neuron, right? Then we also have to divide the peripheral into two. Somatic. Here you can see that we are also going to concentrate only on autonomic nervous system. It means that the other part is just it will be there for your knowledge purposes to know that the peripheral system, it is divided into two: autonomic nervous system and something called somatic nervous system. This somatic nervous system is going to control a voluntary action, and the autonomic nervous system is going to control involuntary action. This one it also divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic section, right? So it looks confusing, Nana, but hang around. Let's try and explain this right in a class, or let's try to understand this together. So here's the thing. Yesterday we did. You'll allow me that each and every day we'll have to do a mini revision, Nana, of our previous class. Yesterday we did a reflex arc. We talked about this. We did our I showed you the activities, right? I showed you how they bring these activities on our examination questions, and I even did the correction. If you missed that part, go and watch it, guys. We did corrections. We did how the question papers containing or under these two topics, right? So this was our reflex arc. As you still remember, those who are following me, you can still remember that I said let's first finish these two, then we can now concentrate on what is a gray matter, what is a white matter, right? 5 minutes. This gray matter or this white matter, the gray matter, we find that in a spinal cord, come on, the butterfly, right? The butterfly inside it's made out of a gray matter. What is a gray matter, Mr. Pape? The gray matter. Okay, let's move on, right? We have what I want to say here. We have the brain. Hence, my brain was tatazilling. In a brain, right? In a brain, something like this. We cut the brain. Actually, we'll have the head. We'll have your scalp like this, and then this will be your eyes, this will be your nose, this will be your mouth, and then this will be your brain, right? If we come and cut this section, right? If we can come and cut here, right? We are going to see something like this. We are going to see at the upper part. You are going to see this when we do the disease. You are going to see the upper part, right? So in this part section, we see that the center one in a brain, the center one is made out of a white matter, right? The center one is made out of a white matter, and the exterior, the one that is outside, as like different with this one, right? The outside here will be the gray matter. So here's the thing. Here on our spinal cord, right, this gray matter, we found it inside, right? This is the tissue, right? This is the tissue, nervous tissue made out of nerves, right? We'll find the gray matter or the gray tissue inside, and then we'll find the white matter outside. So what is happening here? Different with our brain, right? Here it's our spinal cord, and then we cut it like this. Here's the thing. Our nerves here, understand this, or let's use this. Our nerves, they are bringing the neuron, right? They are bringing the impulse to the gray matter. Inside the gray matter, they will say the gray matter, it is comprised or it is made out of a dendrites. As you can see, we have those dendrites here, and the cell body, right? And the cell body. Explanation here on this spinal cord, right? So what is happening is that the impulse here is going to be transferred. It is going to pass the white matter and transferred to a gray matter. Inside the gray matter, that's where we see the transfer of impulses from the sensory neuron to the motor neuron, from the motor neuron to the from the interneuron, from the interneuron to the motor neuron, right? We see it happening inside the gray matter, where in a spinal cord, right? This one here, we know, right? Or I told you that when this impulse arrives to a spinal cord, there is a reflex arc that is going to be completed, right? And the other neuron here is going to collect these neurotransmitters here and send them to the brain, right? Like so. It means that we are going to have the interneuron, they are going to collect them here. Since they are the interneurons, this one, we are going to have the interneuron collecting other neurons here from the sensory neuron and move outside of the gray matter via the white matter, moving straight to the brain, right? It is arriving here at the brain, the bottom part. It's going to arrive like this, right, to the brain. When it arrives to the brain, it's going to be, first thing is going to accumulate at the white matter inside. Like from the white matter, this axon, right? Actually, it will be passed by the axon, or this one will be our axon of our interneuron, right? So this axon is going to pass and enter the gray matter. Inside the gray matter, that's where we are going to see the motor neuron now leaving our brain, something like this, right? This is just a simplified vision of what is happening. So there's the thing. White matter, but it comprises or it consists of an axon. I saw it somewhere, I'll show you. This one is comprised of an axon, right? So as you can see, or what I was saying here, inside the brain here, the white matter is going to be inside because that is the axon that is going to house the axons of those interneurons that are bringing the neurons or the impulse to the brain. And then the gray matter outside, something like this, right? Something like this, something like this, something like this, right? So this will be our axons of our interneurons, and then this one will be our dendrites of our motor neuron, leaving the cranial or leaving the skull, going to the effectors. You'll understand. So it means that, or this one, they can move, also come back here. This one can also move, come back here also. And then we see the neurons as pegged as inside a spinal cord, going like this, right? So this spinal cord is a bunch of many neurons going upside inside our brain. I hope you understand this. I spend a lot of time trying to explain this. So there's a difference between the gray matter and the white matter at the spinal cord, and the gray matter and the white matter on a brain. So we'll move on with this. This was an activity. We did this, and then they also give us an activity, and this activity where I use the diagram of the reflex arc in 26.6. Answer the following question. Part B indicates the part B, and the number 1, the correct sequence in which the impulse move receptors, the effectors in the reflex arc. Okay, we go up, and then we have number B. This number B, the part B there, or part B here. So the part B will be this one is the sensory neuron, and then we go and want the answer that contains sensory neuron. You can see sensory neuron here, and then you can see sensory neuron here, and then they say this one are the dendrites of a sensory neuron, this one are the axons of dendritary neuron, right? So we can go and see part B. If this is our part B, we can say this will be the axon. This will be the dendrites. Yes, this will be the dendrites, because mind you, the definition of dendrites, it says it transport the impulse to the body cell, to the cell body, right? To the cell body. So this will be the dendrites of this one. This will be the dendrite of a sensory neuron, right? We'll agree with this one, 2 marks. And then what is the correct sequence in which impulses move from the receptor to the effector in the reflex arc in 6.6? It's what? Let's see. It will be A, sure. It will be B, sure. It will be C, sure. It will be D, and then it will be E, right? A, B, C, D, E, right? A, B, C, D, E, number A, right? But what I want us to do here is this question. You can see the answers there, C and A, right? So I would like that in my class I don't like people to cram, right? I don't like people to cram. I like people to work things out, and then now we can go back to our we can go back to our memorandum. You have the question paper, you have the memorandum. You start by working out the question. You don't start by going to the memorandum and come back and find out how they came up with that answer in memorandum. No, you come here and answer. Maybe you answer C with your understanding. After you go to the memorandum and see if the memorandum is saying the answer is not C, it's A, then when you compare what mistake, maybe like here, what mistake did you make here, right? What the mistake that maybe you make, maybe like you were mistaken by this AD, or you were mistaken by something, then the next time when they ask something similar, you will be very much vigilant, or you will be very much work on to understand, right? So there's the thing. You don't go to the memorandum and see the answer and come back. You come to the questions here and do the questions, understand the questions, write your answers, go to the memorandum. It can also helps you with spellings, right? Let's go this. But the structure which receives a stimulus and convert it into an impulse, this the structure that it's receiving the stimulus and convert. This is a receptor, right? It's a receptor. It can be a structure, it can be an organ, it can be in a tissue, or it can be a cell that is receiving the stimuli and convert. The receptor, they receive the stimuli and they convert it, right? Don't mistake this with a sensory neuron. Some people, they can mistake this with a sensory neuron. Then number B, but a structure which responds to stimulus, e.g. muscle or an organ. This one is the structure that is responding to the stimulus, but muscle or organ, we have the effector, right? Effector. Then number C, a neuron that carries impulses from the central nervous system to the effectors. The neuron that carries impulses from the central nervous system to the effector. This one will be from. They are saying from. You see, a neuron that carries impulses from central nervous system to the effector. We also have another clue here. The one that brings the impulse to the effector. This one is a motor neuron. Motor neuron, right? And then or a afferent neuron, right? neuron. You don't just write afferent, you write efferent neuron. Then, but a neuron that carries impulses from the receptors to the central nervous system, this one will be sensory neuron, right? Or efferent, efferent. You don't give them options. You write sensory neuron, you write sensory neuron. Motor neuron, you write, because you might find that you are saying motor neuron and then you mistakenly these two, right? You see what I'm doing, exactly what I am doing, exactly what I am doing. If I talk about that one, I was going to miss it. You see now. Hence I said we don't give them an option. You don't give them an option. You see what I did there? I mistakenly, this motor neuron, this is an efferent. Efferent is taking out, right, inferent neuron. That is another mistake that you have to learn. And then this one will be afferent. That was the mistake of days to learn. Afferent neuron, right? This one will be afferent neuron, this one will be efferent. So here's the thing, where now you don't give them options like this. If you know efferent neuron, you write efferent neuron. If you know motor neuron, you write motor neuron, because that what I was trying to say. If you come here and say motor neuron, but in brackets you say afferent neuron, they are not going to give you, because when now you are saying two different, you are saying you understand something like that, like the exam mistake that I did up there, that can get us being penalized, right? So avoid giving them two options. I'm just giving you this option because some books can use this, right? And then number E, but a neuron that carries impulses from sensory neuron to a motor neuron, this will be an interneuron, right? Interneuron, right? Or connector, connector neuron. When now you can come and write connector neuron, or you can come and write interneuron. Either way, it's fine. But a very quick autonomic action that involves the spinal cord and not the brain. You understand? This one is the autonomic action. We name them reflex action, right? Action. And then number G there, the pathway along with an impulse is transmitted to bring about the response to the pathway, the reflex arc, a reflex arc. And then number 7, 1 1 1 1 1 1, right? So memorandum, we go, we see the receptor, the effector, you see the message, the mistake that I was doing there. Connector, you also have to write connector. If you write connector, you also write a connector neuron, not just a connector what? And then reflex action and then reflex arc. Thank you. Now we can move on to peripheral nervous system with that knowledge of ours, right? That's the knowledge that we are taking. We are moving on, right? And then another thing here, these are the one that we are going to learn today. I said we'll leave them this to Thursday, so let's go and do this, right? Because they're just mixing up things. And then here's the gray matter that I was talking about, the white matter that I was talking about here. But the gray matter, this is the part, you see, it's just a part. This is the part of the tissue, it's the part of the brain or a spinal cord consisting of a cell bodies and dendrites. Right? Gray matter, this is the part of the brain and the spinal cord consisting of myelinated axons. So in a white matter, we are going to find these myelinated axons, right? I explained it before, I'm not going to explain it now, but you'll find that in a brain, in a spinal cord, this is a first inside one, and then white matter is the outside one. In the brain, something like this, vice versa, the gray inside, the gray outside, the white inside. Right? I hope you understand that, or I hope if you see it somewhere, no, this is what I'm talking about, right? So from there today, we are going to take, and then the information that we can take from these terminologies, neurons, impulses, synapses, nerves, homeostasis. You understand what is homeostasis, and then we are moving on, right? From there, let's move on with our nervous system. This will be our nervous system, right? So here's the thing with this chart. Can I have a don't have a board, right? Don't have a board, but I'll write it here. Here's the thing. We have our nervous system, right? We'll say this one, it's a nervous system, right? In this nervous system is going to be divided into two parts, right? Central nervous system, we are going to say this one is a central nervous system made out of a brain and a spinal cord, right? And then also peripheral nervous system, and then this one will be peripheral nervous system. Just means peripheral means outside, right? Outside of something, peripheral of what. So here's the thing, in peripheral we have the receptor and and a sensory neuron taking message to the central nervous system. It might be the spinal cord or the brain, right? We also see the motor neurons leaving the central nervous system to the effector, right? So we divide this thing in half like this, right? So this is the division that we are coming with, right? So the peripheral nervous system, it is what is happening outside, right? So you can see it is what is happening outside the central nervous system. This is system like this, connected like this, right? So here's the thing. I told you that in these neurons of ours, there is no interpretation of impulse. So here the neurons, I did the arrow wrong there. If here the neurons is picked up and it's being sent to central nervous system, right? This is what is happening in a peripheral nervous system. But whatever is happening in a peripheral system, it also have to pass the line and arrive to the central nervous system. So here's the thing, we don't have two type of nervous system. These are the not two types of nervous system. It's just a nervous system is divided into two sections. These are the section of nervous system. Understand that, right? Even the message, even here we can say these are the message, these are the neurons, these are the motor neuron bringing bringing the impulse from central nervous system to the effector. But the message has to come from the central nervous system here. So it means that we will have our brain, we will have our spinal cord, and then these two attach, these two systems now make up one system there. I hope you understand that, right? So in a peripheral nervous system, today we are going to talk about this peripheral nervous system here. Allow me to talk about it. And then in peripheral nervous system, right, this peripheral nervous system, it is also divided into two types. I said we have the sensory nervous system and we have the motor nervous system, right? We will have the sensory this side. I'll write it sensory nervous system, right? And we have the motor nervous system. You'll understand that the sensory nervous system there is the system that is bringing, this is the upper system, the system that is bringing what information to the central nervous system, right? The motor neuron, it is the system that is taking the message from central nervous system or transmitting the impulse from central nervous system to the effector. So in these neurons that are bringing the message to the effectors down here, we now divide this into two. We now divide this into autonomic and somatic. This one is going to be divided into two. There are those who are going to that direction and there are those who are going to that direction. But they are also, all of them, they are bringing a message from central nervous system to the effectors. So there are those that they are going to affect a certain effectors and we have those that are going to affect a certain effectors, right? So when we say a somatic voluntary, these are going to affect, or these are the motor neurons that are sending or that are transmitting neurons to the voluntary muscles or voluntary skeleton. Hence we said this one is a voluntary. It's sending the message from central nervous system to the voluntary muscle. Like when picking up your phone, when writing down things, you reading book, you doing what, those things that you are volunteering, right? This is another part. Today we are not, or in this chapter we are not going to concentrate on this part, where to kick a ball, to jump, to run, to ride a bicycle, to do all those voluntary muscles or those voluntary effectors, those muscles and what that are being affected by motor neurons. They fall under this somatic nervous system, right? So we can come and concentrate here. What is the other line, Mr. Pep? Where is the other line going? The other line is going to those effectors or those muscles or those organs that they are moving involuntarily. We don't choose to move them. Example, I'll use heartbeat, right? So in our heartbeat, you know that the beating of heart is involuntary, right? But the message is being sent, or the signal is being sent, the electricity is being sent to that heart so that that heart will pump that blood. We did this grade 11, grade 10, right? This is the information that this is building on what we did in grade 11. Another example, we can say digestion, peristalsis. Those that we said they are being controlled from medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata is going to send a signal that is going to be transferred from central nervous system to what? To the effector, because it's going to affect the heart. Because those electrical signals, they are going to affect peristalsis. Because those signals, they are going to affect all those involuntary muscles or those involuntary things, our breathing in or our moving out and in of our lungs so that we can breathe, right? Those are involuntary movement, right? So here's the thing. From there, you can see that we also have to divide those two, right? Right, those are the effect, those are the motor neurons, right? Yes, are the motor neurons, these are the nerves, these are the motor neurons. This motor neuron is going to divide and go to a somatic one, and this one we will see that this one they're going to divide and go to the autonomic voluntary, right? It's going to the heart, right? So when they enters the heart, there when we this is the heart. When we enter into the heart, this motor neuron, they are going to divide now and become two. There will be the one also attaching to the heart and also the one attaching to the heart. These are the motor neurons. So here's the thing. The other line we are going to say these are sympathetic, and the other line we are going to say these are parasympathetic. Here's the thing. With sympathetic, if the motor neuron, or if the signal that is coming here, is going to increase the heart rate, this will be the heart rate. If it's going to increase the heart rate, right? Our heart rate, the moment our heart rate starts to beat fast, we also have to have another motor neuron that is going to bring the cooling down of that increasing heart rate. Sympathetic, we are increasing. In this scenario, or in this small diagram of mine, right? I'm increasing the heartbeat, right? I'm increasing the where from the medulla oblongata. Whatever reason, maybe they will say, they can give you an example. Maybe you are scared, or maybe you are threatened. You understand? Or you have anger, you are what. It means that when you are angry or when you are scared, the message is going to be sent from medulla oblongata straight, and that message will be in a form of an impulse. That impulse is going to go straight to your heart, and it's going to kick your heart so that your heart will beat fast, and then we are going to say now we are parasympathetically reacting. Then after, when that thing is happening, that heart is also have to come back to its normal state, homeostasis, right? It also have to come back to maybe 2 beats per minute or 3 beats per minute, whatever the beats that we have per minute. And then the nerve that is going to cool down this heart, it's parasympathy. It's also a motor neuron that now is going to bring the electrical signal that is going to cool down that heart. So this one, they say they work antagonistically. When this one is pushing something up, this one will be pushing it down. So we can go maybe to your eyes, you can go to your I also have a diagram. I can also show you. Okay, let's go to that diagram. So let's go to this diagram. You see, there's the diagram. We have a sympathetic here, right, and parasympathetic here, right? So this is what is happening with your nervous system. This will be your central nervous, this one will be your central nervous system. As I have said, that the message has to go to the central nervous system, and the message has to come out of the central nervous system. So we can see that in our spinal cord, we have those stored messages, that those reflex arc, right? We talk about this reflex arc or reflex actions that they can be stored here for a quick response, right? So these are going to happen quickly. So here's the thing. In sympathetic, we are going to dilate a pupil. Let's say, for an example, you are scared, right? Or maybe like they use an example of a snake. You see a snake, right? The moment you see the snake, as you can see, that parasympathetic is going to accelerate the heartbeat, right? It's going to accelerate the heartbeat. Then from there, you can work other organs from there. You know, sympathetic increase the heartbeat. While we are increasing that heartbeat, they are also going to add we're also going to have other changes in our body. Like now, since the heartbeat is increasing, it means that our blood now is going to have more pressure, right? We are going to increase blood pressure. This way is it, maybe it's not here, but you can also say it means that our blood is going to increase. Our blood pressure is going to increase. From there, you know that this is going to relax the bronchi. Why? So that the oxygen now can be pumped in and out. Like when you are scared, you know, when you are scared, the oxygen has to be the heartbeat is increasing, right? It's sympathetic, it's preparing. This sympathetic, they say, it's preparing you for the worst, right? When you see the snake, the body is going to prepare you for fighting with snake or running away, right? You can start after running away. That's when you can cool down, right? After running away, that's when you can see now, yeah, my central nervous system kicked, right? It increased the heartbeat here. After increasing the heartbeat here, our bronchi relax so that more oxygen will pass in and CO2 will pass out, right? And then this will inhibit the salivation. Like the saliva in your mouth, it's going to be decreased, right? When you are scared, you find that you don't even release a saliva. Like for example, when you are doing an unprepared speech, when you are doing an unprepared speech, the lips become dry because sympathetic now it's kicking in. Kushubile no kushubile baba, your body has to comprehend, or has to fight, or has to prepare for fighting. Now it's have to prepare for fleeing, which is running, or fighting, right? Then from there, your eyes, they are going to dilate. To dilate, next week we are going to talk about the eye, right? We are going to talk about this structure, or this beautiful, but the most second complicated organ in our human body. This one after the brain, right? It's going to be the eye, right? Then the eye there is going to dilate. When the eye dilates, they are going to increase. You can see that this inside here, it's big, and somewhere here it's short, right? We are still going to come this side. This one is short, but whatever is happening here, it's this is the opposite of whatever is happening this side, right? But let's understand this side first. You can see that the pupil is going to dilate. It means that we are going to increase this black thing in our eyes, allowing the light to pass in, allowing ourselves now to be vigilant, to see things now. Really, what is happening? We are fighting now. Then from there, we are going to inhibit the digestive activity. Right, we are going to inhibit digestive activity. You know that when to digest things, you understand, you have to be relaxed. And another thing, we are going to release, we are going to stimulate glucose release, because now your body is prepared for fighting. We need energy, right? You know the glucose is used for energy. We did metabolism in grade 11, if I'm not mistaken, right? Stimulates glucose release by liver. This glucose is needed in our body, right? Energy. Then from there, we are going to relax our bladder. When we say the blood is going to relax, we did this when we are doing, and what do we call kidney, what you know, there's a different when our bladder relaxes, and when our bladder where is it, our bladder contracts, right? When it relaxes, it's going to allow more urine, right? More urine is going to pass in, or more urine is going to be stored. Now someone can come with a question, why do we urinate ourselves when we are scared, right? That question, you can ask that question, you can answer that question after this activity. You learn, or you'll understand better why do people, they urinate themselves, while here they said sympathetic, while you are scared, the bladder here is going to relax. And you know that with the relaxation of the bladder, the urine is not going to go out. The urine is going to be kept in. To understand, the urine is going to be kept in, and then contracts the rectum. The rectum also is going to be clenched now. The situation outside is strong. Here in sympathetic, there's no way you are going to cack. Sorry to say that. There's no way. You know that for you to go and do number 2, you have to be relaxed, right? So this is what is happening fast, and then our kidney that's going to secrete very epinephrine and norepinephrine from the kidney. This one we can say is going to a well-known adrenaline, right? We are going to talk about adrenaline. We are going to talk about this endocrine system, right? But also the people they will say, hey, adrenaline rush. This is what they are talking about. Or when you are sympathetic. Yeah, when those electric signal, they are being sent, you are going to release those adrenaline, right? So from there, right? From there, jiggy, things now have to cool down. Parasympathetic, right? Things have to cool down. It means that another signal has to be sent out from this part that you see here in our body. You can see we have a medulla oblongata there before the spinal cord, right? The medulla oblongata is going to send that signal to now cool our blood. It means that it will inhibit blood a heart, or it will lower. I want something that you can understand better. It can lower the heartbeat, right? It can lower the heartbeat, right? And then from there, after lowering the heartbeat, and then constrict the bronchi, and then now the what we call the respiratory system, or the respiration lowers, right? Relax, cools, and then it's going to stimulate digestive activity. Now you can start to digest your food now. Then from there, it's going to stimulate the gallbladders. We're going to learn about this when you're doing the endocrine, that the gallbladders and what they work, right? And then it's going to also, it means that now our glucose is not going to be released in our liver there. And then instead of releasing the glucose, is going to force the storage of the glucose, and the bladder now can contract. Now you can urinate. Now after that you can, whew, you know, after presentation, after unprepared speech, you become so urinated. After that you go and urinate. That is parasympathetic. And then from there you can even go do your number 2, because the rectum there, it gets to relax. Hence, when you go to the toilet for number 2, you have to relax, right? And then from there, your eyes, they are going to constrict. Your pupil is going to come back to the normal state, and then there you are that going to be stimulate salivation. Now you are going to remove those salivas. Now everything now it's fine. I hope you understand this simple diagram of mine, and then the rest was cervical, thoracic, lumbar is just for another information for another day. If you are going to learn this further, right? You have sympathetic ganglion. Those one we are not interested. The lumbar here is the down part. We talked about this when we said the spinal cord is going to join from the medulla oblongata down up until to the lumbar region. Then we have the thoracic region, the cervical region here. So that's it, guys. Where were we? We were here, right? So we are done with this. We are done. Now we understand what is happening. Now I can conclude that these people understand what is happening. There's no way. So here's the thing. The central nervous system is our brain and our spinal cord, right? Our peripheral system, it's our cranial nerves made out of 12, and then spinal nerves made out of 31, right? These cranial nerves, these are nerves from the eye, can be from the nose. You don't have to know the names, but the olfactory, this one there, eye, you're going to know it, optic nerve, right? And then you have the one from the mouth, from the tongue, from the tonsil, these things here on our what bringing a message to the brain. And we also have the other one here at the ear that you are also going to talk about it, auditory canal or auditory nerve, that is going to also to take the message to the brain. Right, and then with this one, with this 31, you know, these are the location, right, of the nerves. And then here at our spinal nerve, we have our 31 nerves from here, from the neck, 1 2 3 4 up until this side, right? 31, 1 2 3 4 5 6. And then here another nerve that I can leave you with is the longest nerve in a human body. I'm not sure if this one is this one or this one is but it's the longest nerve from the buttocks down to the to our toe, right? It's called a sciatic, something like this. Sciatic, something like this. You can go and Google it, right? But something like sciatic nerve, you can. There's no I here. Yeah, it's sciatic, right? Sciatic nerve. Right, this is a nerve, or this is a sensory neuron and a motor neuron, the longest nerve in a human body, right, from the buttocks up until your leg there. Since it's the longest thing, you can claim it like that, right? So we can move on. The peripheral, there's no interpretation here. It's just the movement of impulse away or in to the central nervous system. Now we can move on and focus on our textbook and see what are they saying with this peripheral nervous system. Yo, for sure we are done. I've explained everything this time around. There's no way. This is the activity that we are going to do, right? I'm not sure if I was still going to have time, or we can do this tomorrow. But there's the peripheral nervous system. But the peripheral nervous system consists of all nerves found outside of a central nervous system, right? It consists of all then found outside nervous system. It's fine. The peripheral nervous system consists of 12 pair of cranial nerves, the one that we find on our skull, which are connected to the brain, and this one are connected to the brain, right? They are called the cranial nerve, and also consist of 31 pairs of spinal nerves, which are connected to the spinal cord, right? We have two types of nerves, the cranial nerves and spinal nerves, right? And then from there, but the peripheral nervous system can be divided into two parts, the somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. I talked about this. And then somatic nervous system, which controls voluntary muscles, right? And then autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary muscles, right? Medulla oblongata, what, breathing, peristalsis, what, and this one, jumping, running, whatsoever. And then we said this somatic, right? And then autonomic from automatic, right? Note this. And then, but the peripheral nervous system has the following function. It transmits impulses from the receptor. This is the function of nervous system. By this time you know of the peripheral nervous system. It transmits impulses from the receptor to the central nervous system via the sensory neuron, right? And then the second option will be the motor neuron. It transmits the impulses from the central nervous system to the effectors via the motor neuron. When now you know the function of sensory neuron and the motor neuron, you understand what is happening with a peripheral nervous system. As of what I know now, or I understand, this is what you know with peripheral nervous system. You can explain to someone what is happening with peripheral system. This peripheral system is divided into two parts, right? We have somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. I did the bar graph there. This will be our peripheral nervous system. Peripheral divided into two. First thing first, right? First division will be the sensory. Don't forget, this will be the sensory nervous system. This one will be the motor sensory nervous system, right? And then this motor is going to be divided into somatic and autonomic. This is like this, right? So in our book, they only concentrate into this line. They don't concentrate in this line again, right? So they will come in the peripheral, same like this. The peripheral is the peripheral is divided into two, somatic and autonomic, right? So beware of that. But the somatic nervous system this is somatic nervous system controls voluntary or skeletal muscles. We talked about this. The nerves in this system allow the body to react to changes in an external environment. So this one will be our mostly of our reflex arc, where we are touching a hot surface receptors. They're going to, you understand, for us to respond there, mostly we use our somatic nervous system to respond to other stimuli, right? Both those simple reflex action, right? Then we have autonomic nervous system, but the autonomic nervous system controls involuntary actions, right? The nerves in this system allows the body to react to changes in the internal environment so that the homeostasis can be maintained, right? You talked about homeostasis. We are right. We understand that one. And then the autonomic nervous system can be subdivided. Now we are going to the autonomic nervous system. Can be now subdivided into sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Each organ in the human body is supplied by both types of nerve, right? I did this, right? Still remember this, then I did this, right? A heart here. This is what they're saying. Each organ in a human body is supplied by two types of nerves, sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerve, right? And then the sympathetic nervous system is responsible for fight or flight function in an emergency situation, while the parasympathetic system restores the body to a normal state after the emergency situation. So here they can use a word emergency situation, or they can use a fight or flight situation, right? A fight or fight situation, emergency situation, where your body is preparing to fight or to faint. The two systems does work antagonistically to each other. We talked about this, right? When other one is increasing, the other one is decreasing. Then the number two, but the table 2 below shows this system work in opposite to bring out homeostasis, the effect of sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, right? We talked about this, and then here's the small graph for you or for your notes. Those will be saying, Mr. People, we don't have notes. Hey, send us Mr. Note. What do you want more? Because we have our notes, we have our textbook here, we have our study guide that side. Here's our note. This is what you have to know, right? Since you have to explain this. And then they said sympathetic nervous system is going to increase heart rate. Didn't we talk about this? Yes. This one is increasing, this one is decreasing. And then this one is constricting blood vessels, right? This one is constricting, this one is dilation. Why are we constricting? We are constricting to increase blood pressure, and then here we are dilating. To dilate is to relax, and then here to constrict is to pull closer. So this will be like this here. This one will going to decrease the blood pressure because now the blood will have the space to move, and then it widens bronchi for movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Since here you are relaxed, now you are narrowing your bronchi, right? Then it's going to decrease the peristalsis, the movement of food, since it also inhibits the digestion, right? So to inhibit digestion is decreases the peristalsis, and then this side is going to increase peristalsis. That's why when you are parasympathetic, you are now going to digest those food, and then but it causes relaxation of the bladder, and then here it causes constriction of the bladder. Constriction here, this constriction, because it's moved, you understand, because it's going like this, and then this relaxation is because it's doing like this. Here we'll store more urine, here we are going to release those urine, while this is constructing, right? It also constructs the rectum, other things, and then it also stimulates sweat creation, right? It also stimulates sweat secretion, sorry, and then here there's no effect. You don't find yourself sweating while you are just chilling and watching TV. There's no way. If you find yourself doing that, you have a disorder. We're going to talk about this when we are talking about respond to the environment by endocrine, right? While you are just sweating sitting, but here something like this, and then it's going to dilate the pupil. You're going to be vigilant and see things. Here is going to construct. It just means that you are going to take it shorten, dilate. In life science, we are relaxing. Due to relaxing of that organ, the organ is going to open more, right? While that thing is happening, hence we don't say it open, because it's not going to close. Okay, let's move on. And then it stimulates secretion of adrenaline, right? Adrenaline I'm talking about, and then here there is no adrenaline. You are just sitting now, you are fine, right? But the moment adrenaline hashes, that we are going to talk about this. And here's the thing, but adrenaline is a very important hormone that will be discussed in a later chapter, endocrine, right? It works with sympathetic nervous system to prepare the body for a dangerous or a stressful situation, right? This is a part of an endocrine system. This adrenaline, when it's released, it's going to kick on, or it's now going to increase the heart rate here. So this adrenaline also works with sympathetic, vice versa. So we stimulate the secretion of adrenaline. While this adrenaline is being removed, it's going to affect those organs. Now you are going to breathe fast. You understand? Yes, as they say, it prepare the body for a dangerous situation. Also sympathetic also prepare the body for dangerous situation. We are done with sympathetic. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Now we can go and do that activity, right? We are done with sympathetic, guys. Then tomorrow we are going to do the disease and other questions, right? So you agree with me, guys. I try to push. I try to be fast. I tried. So here's the activity, right? Here's the activity today. And then by the practical investigation, I'll be fasting Anna because I can see my time is up, right? Activity 4, the practical investigation on, let's do this. We can write there, right? I wanted to do the two screens, but we can write here. It's no problem. Yes, there is a problem. There is no way. I want to have two screens. If you have a problem with it, you can excuse yourself. We are just doing this for a matter of understanding, right? Because they will want us to do this investigation. So we are doing this investigation today with our extra 2 minutes or 5 minutes time, right? So thank you for being here. This will be our activity 4. White this side, right? This will be our activity 4. Activity 4, right? Thank you. Then Baritando, I'm not sure. Let's do this. But you can see, man, a full HD and full screen, you can see this. But Tando conducted an experiment, right? Tando conducted an experiment to determine which gender has the faster reaction time amongst his classmates, right? Tando, the guy here, we wanted Tando to do this. We are doing this as a class, right? And then out of 15 learners, so this class is 15 learners. Renee here, we are 75. Bragging Yana there. Out of 15 learners in his class, he randomly selected a sample of 5 girls and 5 boys, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 5 they were left outside. And then the following steps were followed for each members of the sample during the experiment. Hey, can't see. I cannot see. Right? Thank you. The following steps were. The following steps were followed for each member of the sample, right? Of the member of the sample during the experiment. I told you that when we say the sample, this is the number of, here's the thing that we are taking out. If I'm saying that I have 5 mangoes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to test 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. These 3 here will be our sample, right? The thing that we are going to use to test, and then the other one we're going to sampling, taking out. We talked about this, man. The following steps were followed for each member of the sample during the experiment. 5, 5, right? But Tando held a meter ruler. You can do this in your class. Tando held a meter ruler between his thumb and an index finger, just above the 100 centimeter mark. And then the pupil placed the thumb and the index finger on each side of the meter ruler on the 0 mark, right? With only the thumb touching it, right? With only the thumb touching the ruler. I'll show you. As Tando dropped the meter ruler, the pupil caught it by closing the thumb and the forefinger, the one, right? The pointing finger. But during each trial, Tando recorded the distance at which the meter ruler was caught, right? The procedure was repeated 5 times for each pupil. So let's go and see this experiment in our book. His experiment will be like this. This my drawing skills. This will be our thumb here, and then this will be our pointing finger, and then this will be our fingers here. So this will be a U, right? This will be the 5 student waiting to catch this ruler. And then they're saying the ruler was like this, touching the on a 0 mark, man. On a 0 mark. 0 mark. Zero mark here, right? It means that 0 mark, they're saying touching the thumb on a 0 mark. So it's going to be like this, 100 meters or 100 centimeter ruler. So yeah, what is going to happen is going to drop this ruler, right? When it is traveling down this space here, these people here, they are going to close this thumb and their index finger to hold or to catch that ruler. I hope you understand, right? So wherever they are catching that ruler, we record that. So if she or if the 5 boys or 5 girls, if first boy hold it at 20 centimeter, we are going to record that 20 centimeter, and then we do the average, right? I hope you understand this. That is what is happening, right? This is what is happening very well. So okay, from there we can see from the statement they use they did a 100 rule and then the mark, and then the procedure was repeated 5 times for each pupil. It means that one person it had 5 times chance to perform that, and then the average distance here was recorded. But the table below shows the average distance at which the ruler was caught by 5 boys and 5 girls over 5 trials, right? So this is the average. So it means that boy 1 is called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we add everything, we divide by 5, and then we have this answer, right? This one is he hold it at a average distance 5.89. So if we have a ruler like this, so it means that he hold it up somewhere up here, but with a girl one here, we have a 48. It means that she hold it down here, right? So with this information, we can now conclude that this girl here, she was faster compared to the guy, right? And then boy number 2, as you can see, she hold it at 4.7. This will be before 5.0, right? This one was low, this one she was fast. And then number 3, he hold it at 4.9 up here, and she hold it at 4.2. She was fast, he was slow. So you can see our guys were slow, our girls were fast, right? Our guys were slow, our girls were fast. We're having this one as the fastest reactor. We are testing the reaction, right? The moment we say 1, 2, 3, we drop, or we can count or we cannot count. You can just look at the ruler. The moment the ruler start moving, where now you hold your pinch, you pinch your index finger there, right? So that you'll pinch that ruler. So it means that if we are from 0 and she catch it at 3.9, she was the fastest reactor. She saw that ruler at a fastest rate, right? This is how you have to interpret these videos. I cannot spend my 1 hour. Now we are on a full 1 hour mark and we cannot learn anything, right? Or we don't learn anything. You should benefit from this. Then this will be the average distance at which the meter ruler was caught. So let's go to our questions. And another thing, for you or for those learners that we expect, or as teachers, they expect them to play here around 75, they should master these questions here, right? These are the questions that you should master for you to play here 75% and above, right? So even if now you are playing at 10%, right, you mastered this, it means that we can add 20%, and then you can pass, right? 30%, from 30, 40, from 40, 50, like so, right? We have the average between the boys and the girls. The girls were the fastest compared to the boys, right? So that was our investigation. Someone do investigation, give you the results, you should be able to interpret those results and come up with a conclusion. This was the conclusion. Our conclusion is that our boys are slower compared to our girls. We can conclude that, right? Then number one, but identify the, now we can remove this, we can shift the screen back so that we can see everything. Number one, identify the independent variable of the experiment. We know that in our experiment we have the independent variable and a dependent variable. Most students here, we see flames, even me, right? So here's the thing, how do we differentiate the independent and the dependent? Like what the words are saying. The dependent is depending on something. Independent, they are not depending on something. It means that this dependent, for us to have this dependent, we were checking at an independent. So in this, or we also can also have to try and draw our graph, right? You also know that in these activities, you also have to know how to draw a graph. If they say line graph, you know it's a line graph. The bar graph, you know it's a bar graph, right? And then the histogram, you know this is the histogram. And the pie chart, you know this is the pie chart. So this is what you have to master here in these questions. So if with this you can come for you to find independent and dependent, 1 mark, 1 mark, can come and try to draw a graph like this, right? In this graph, you know that those who are not changing, the boys are not changing. I can have boy 1 here, I can have boy 1 here, boy 2 here, boy 3 here, boy 4 here, boy 5. So that if I'm drawing a histogram, this boy 1 is going to mark at 5. If I'm drawing a bar graph, man, or this will be a bar graph, it has to be a bar graph. This one has to be at 5.8, and then number 2, it has to be at 5, and then number 3, it has to be 4.9, and then number 4, 4.8, then number 5, 4. You can see this is also decreasing, right? So with this, you know, here I'm writing the boys. It means here I'll be writing the average distance, right? So the average distance here, because I'm writing it here, it means that it is depending on the number of boys, right? So an example there, what is the independent in this one with what I have said? Which one are you going to say? This one is a dependent, not boys, gender. You don't say boys. I agree there are girls and boys. We're going to use gender because we have boys and girls in this. I was just using example here, right? When now you will say gender, boy and a girl, they are the independent. They are not depending on anything, right? The dependent now is the average distance, right? Or the reaction time. You say the reaction time. Reaction time, right? A reaction time, or because we are testing a reaction time, but we are using an average distance, right? We can use so an average distance of reaction time. Then 1 1, right? Then they can say draw a graph. Say I showed you an example by this time. So these are the two independent. Another thing, independent is the one that we are not testing. Dependent is the one that we are testing, right? If we want to find the dependent, we are testing. For example, if you are saying we are planting a plant, and then in a plant something, we also have the control, right? A control, a what. So we have a plant, we have a pot, and then this plant is growing, and then we are saying we are going to measure the length of this plant engine every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, right? So as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday is going to be the independent variable, where that one is there, right? And then we are not changing it. But the dependent one is the one that we want to see the length. This will be the length, right? So, and then we also have the control. The control, this is one plant which a control, we can say maybe the sun, we can say the watering, since we can control those variables, right? The one that you can control, you can say we can add 20 liters today. Tomorrow, if you add more liters, or if you add less liters, that can affect the results, right? So I hope you understand this too. Then number 2, and then they said another thing, you have to learn to draw this graph, right? Number 2, give 2 reasons why the results of this experiment may be regarded as reliable. Give 2 reasons why the results of this experiment may be regarded as reliable. Where do we get these answers? We get them here. What did these people do so that we can rely? Reliable, they just say rely. We can rely on their answer. What is it that they do to make sure that whatever answer, like to be fair, we can do it like that? What did they do so that our answer or our things should be fair, so that we can rely on those answers, right? Maybe like we can say here we can say they repeated our, they repeated the procedure was repeated 5 times for each pupil, right? So you were given 5 times to catch that ruler, right? You were given 5 times try. So now you cannot say I want Jumil, right? So this is to be the first one, and then another one we can say this was done between different genders, between boys and girls, right? You can see here he said 5 girls and 5 boys. Doing this, we are making this experiment of ours to be reliable, to say it means that now we can conclude which parties are for 5 of them, right? For an example, if maybe we used 4 boys here and 3 girls here, and then we do the average of these 3 and average of these 4, you can see that this experiment cannot be reliable, because what if one of this one delays, or one of that one, or because of this one but shorter, now the results cannot be reliable, right? Or another thing we can say, using more numbers here, using a more sample. Agree, we talked about the sample, sampling more girls or sampling more people, right? If for an example here I can say, if we did this experiment between 1 boy and 1 girl, right? With these two, you can say it cannot be reliable, because what if this one only batata high, or this one, whatever the conditions that they may be suffering from, what if they have the conditions? So to do this in a more samples or more number of learners also contribute to this experiment of ours being reliable, right? There's a reliable and a valid. They will say, explain why this is reliable or it's valid, right? The valid now will be taking with the calculations, how they make sure, but same thing, you find them there at our, I'm not sure if they will ask that, if this it's valuable or what. So I don't want to bring things that they will confuse you. But what they are saying by reliable is this: can we rely to this? Yes. What did they do so that we can rely to this experiment? They repeated this thing. Or they even, another thing is that they bring up more learners. We did this amongst more learners. It's not like a one guy. Okay, number 3, but mention 2 factors which should be kept constant during the experiment. Mention 2 factors that should be kept constant. What is it that for this experiment, when you just think, what is it that in this experiment we can keep constant? We cannot be changing it, right? You cannot be changing, or we cannot change it, or we can comprise it to be, okay, for an example, let me give you an example, right? What can we keep constant here? Can be a ruler, right? Can be this ruler. Use one ruler. Don't use many rulers, right? That's the one thing that, or that, those are the one of the 2 factors that you can keep constant. Use one ruler. Or you can say, another thing, you can use one ruler. And then we also talked about this one day, that we can also have one person taking or recording the experiment, right? Also, that also plays a role in our reliable one. Or what can we do so that this experiment can be reliable? We have to have one person, right? We can say one individual recording the recording, right? Recording here and dropping the ruler. Yeah, dropping the rule. If I'm saying that I'm the system paper, I'm holding that ruler, and then I drop it amongst boys, and then after that I give that ruler to someone to drop it to girls. What if before I drop, I move? To understand, and these boys, or maybe these girls here, the person that was doing for the girls here, the person now, she was moving. Then those girls find it, or those girls caught that small opening, or before this person drops this ruler, the person moves, right? So having one person who's dropping a ruler, we can keep it as a constant. To understand, these are the practical investigation. This is what you have to think. You have to sit down and think of what is happening in this investigation. We are investigating hypothesis. We are investigating what do we call photosynthesis. You have to come up with things that we have to keep constant. If photosynthesis is relying on sun, we have to keep this. We have to provide a constant sun. Whatever we are referring there. Here we are saying that we have to have the same person dropping a ruler. We have to do this on the same day. Another thing, we have to do this on the same day. Those are the factors that we can keep constant. When we say we have to do this on the same day, again, what if Monday the boys they came, maybe like the mood was somewhere or something happening around the school that changes, or that changes these people, or maybe the weather. Yeah, let's put it like that. Maybe the weather is warm, and when you are warm, maybe your reaction here get disturbed. And then Tuesday we did girls, and then you find that now the temperatures they are now cool, and then while they are cool, their reaction now is being boosted by that condition. So we have to do this in a same day, right? And then another thing, using a same learners, a same, we can say a group, same age group, right? Same age group here. This is the factors that we can keep constant. Same group here. If we are saying, okay, another thing, if you are saying that we have a boys, and then we do boys from grade 12, and then we do boys from grade 8, you see now our experiment is not going to be reliable, right? We have to keep this constant, or our experiment cannot be valid at the end of the day, because you might find that those that are in grade 12, they've now mastered this game, or this reaction, what, and those who are grade 8, they haven't mastered the game of catching this ruler. So we have to use same grade, like what he did here. He came and take 5 from his class and 5 from his class. So it's making sure that we have the same age group, right? I hope you understand that. I was answering number 3. Mention 2 factors which should be kept constant. Constant, it means that we are not changing anything during the experiment. These things even if we can say doing this in a same room, because taking 5 boys outside and taking girls inside the room, this can affect this experiment. You might find that outside the wind is breeze, the conditions are very much welcoming. Since let's use this one, since girls they have the fast reaction rate, we might find that we take this outside, and then because of the wind was breeze, the music, the chirping of animals contribute to these girls holding that ruler or catching that ruler at a faster rate compared to the boys that they were conducted inside the house. So these are just the factors. When I come with any factors that should be kept constant during the experiment, when I should sit down and think, we are having this experiment, what are those things that I'll have to keep constant? What are those things that I will not be changing, or they are not going to be changed? Right? You should be mastering these questions. And then number 4, maybe we'll come across this question on our question paper, and then we'll also do this with this information that I'm giving you now, right? Then number 4, Pando's initial hypothesis. You learn with this. We have the aim, right? We have the aim, we have the hypothesis. What is the aim of this experiment? The aim of the experiment, let's talk about this, right? The aim of the experiment, it is why are we doing this? What is it that we want to see? What is it that we want to test here? In this experiment, the aim was to test the speed, right? The reaction, where is it? The fastest reaction, right? Time amongst the class learners. This was the aim. Why was the guy doing this experiment at the first place? He was trying to measure, or he was trying to understand, or to come up with which gender, whatever ways that you want to do. We have many ways to kill a cat. Make sure that the cat is dead. Whether you take it inside the sack and hit, or you drown it, make sure that by the time you remove it from that water, that cat is dead. That's what they tell you. Or even if you take the cat and put it inside the sack and hit that sack, make sure that cat is dead, because the moment it comes out of that sack, you don't want to know what is going to happen. There's many ways to kill a cat, and there's many ways to frustrate a cat. That cat le cat. So here we have the many ways to kill this cat, and at the end of the day, let's make sure that the cat is dead, my guy. So here's the thing: you come here, you copy, you put your words together here, you try to make this statement understandable. If they ask you what is the aim, you say the aim of this experiment was to determine which gender has the fastest reaction time amongst Tando's classmate. Then you are done. Then hypothesis. What will be the hypothesis? We have the aim, we have the hypothesis. What is hypothesis, Mr. Pape? Thank you. Then the aim is to test this, right? The hypothesis, on my other hand, hypothesis is what you think might come true. what you think, or what you think the conclusion might be here in this experiment. What this guy thinks, maybe can say, okay, I want to see which gender is faster reaction amongst my classmates, right? But the hypothesis is, or what I think is, boys will have a faster reaction compared to the girls. That is the hypothesis. We haven't tested the experiment. We are just thinking. Hypothesis is what you are thinking, or what the outcomes might look like. I've given you the hypothesis of this experiment here. The hypothesis of this experiment, simple as the guy Tando might think that the boys might have a faster because it's the boy, right? Or he might think that the girls have the faster reaction, right? Or he might think that the boy and the girls have the same reaction average, right? Or he might think that, do you understand, whatever that the hypothesis that we have many hypotheses, but we only have the experiment is being made to come down to one conclusion. Like what I concluded, right? Prayer, I concluded that the girls here, they have the faster compared to the boy based on the results. That was the conclusion. Done. Hypothesis, you can come with any hypothesis. The girl maybe the faster, the boy. You understand? That is hypothesis. The day I learned this hypothesis and what the guy was teaching me, or the person was teaching me, I'm not sure if it was the guy or the lady, but this thing is still ringing in my head, right? He made an example of a torch. Right? This is the torch, and this torch is lighting. This torch is lighting, and then jiggy, tomorrow the torch cannot light. Thank you. And then jiggy, tomorrow the torch cannot light. Right? So when you come up with an hypothesis, you come up with an experiment, what are you going to do? You think, I'm going to open this, okay, this is the thing. You'll think that my torch is dead, right? That's what you're going to think. Oh, the torch is dead, right? One, that is the hypothesis. You think the torch is dead. What if the torch is not dead? What if the batteries are dead? So another hypothesis can be, maybe my batteries are flat. That is the hypothesis, what you are thinking. Before you can go on and check. Before you can go on and do the experiment or whatever you're going to do on that torch. You put the torch down, you are thinking of what might be the cause. Third one, what if the bulb is chill? What if the bulb is bent? That is the other hypothesis, right? So from there you come with an experiment. Maybe the first experiment will be the removing the battery and then replacing them with the new one. Test. If the torch here light, we can conclude that no, the batteries were dead. That's the conclusion. But if you can do this experiment, replace the new batteries, and then the thing is not dead, now the hypothesis of batteries becomes invalid. It's not there. It means that the torch, it's not affected by the batteries. It means now we can move on to prove another hypothesis. Hence the experiment, it is made to prove hypothesis. Right? And then from there you can come and replay. You can do experiment number 2. You are removing the bulb now. After removing the bulb, if you insert the new bulb and the light open and the torch, you can now come and replace the battery there. And if you are using the old batteries and then the torch here, just remove the torch and the light is opening now, you can now conclude that no, my torch, the bulb was malfunctioning. That is the conclusion. Or the bulb got bent. So right, guys, so I understand. I cannot waste my time here, or you cannot waste your time here and not learn anything. Take something away from this. Let's do number 4, right? But Tando initial hypothesis was rejected on the basis of the results obtained. Suggest what Tando's initial hypothesis could have been, because we have many hypotheses. Why not just come with a suggestion, and then but this suggestion was rejected on the basis of the results obtained. What did we obtain as a result? We obtained that girls have a fast reaction time, right? Fast reaction time, right? So with this conclusion here, having or knowing that girls have the fast reaction time, what could be the hypothesis of Tando? Now, the hypothesis of Tando could be, if it was rejected, could be Tando thought like, or Tando or the boys just that boys will have fast what reaction time, right? Or reaction, as we are testing reaction, right? You may be thought that boys will have the fast reaction, which it was rejected basis on the results obtained. The result was obtained that girls have fast reaction, and if we are saying that girls have fast reaction, this statement can reject this statement here, because they want us to suggest what Tando initial hypothesis, or someone can come and say, Mr. Pep, what if Tando thought like the girl will be slower? What is it? Yeah, he thought that the girls will be slower. What if the hypothesis? This you are suggesting, right? This also reject this statement here. Or if he thought that the girls are going to be slower, we are rejecting it because now we found that no, our girls are faster. That was it from me, Mr. Pepu. Thank you, guys. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. You could be doing something else, you could be somewhere else, guys. Thank you. 1 hour 25 minutes of life sciences, guys. Thank you. Those who are subscribing, subscribe, guys. Share these videos with other learners. Share the part. You can screenshot or you can screen record a part and send it to someone. You can screenshot the activity and send it to someone and say, can you please do this activity for me while they are doing it. If maybe they are finding it difficult, then you can go and teach them, or you can go and explain this to them, right? So share them, guys. Share with them, guys. Like if you are liking, comment if you are commenting, guys. That was it from me, Mr. Pepu. Thank you. Peace. Uroko. Those who are sleeping, sleep, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let me not waste your time. Shout out to I had the shout out to Velelini Nkosi. I saw his videos from YouTube. I was going around YouTube checking those people that are learning. Let's do this. I can't learn or subscribe. You don't know how to subscribe. Come to the YouTube here. I told you, right? I showed you. Come to the what, you subscribe. After subscribing, you do the all what, right? So you also set this one to HD quality. Let me remove this one here as keys. You set this to quality, you set HD, right? Then ja data more data data. Then from there you do the full screen. You see this is our previous video, by the way. So then from there you escape. You do like this. I was talking about Velelini Nkosi, right? From C Academy, something like this. I saw his videos yesterday. They recommended their videos to me for me to watch, and then here's the guy, right? His name is Velelini Nkosi. Shout out to you, my guy. We are also learning life science from this guy. You see the new video there 21 hours ago, the peripheral nervous system, right? It's talking about the same video that we are doing today. See, my name is Velelini Nkosi. I'm not sure if I can play this because they can copyright my thing. So this is Velelini Nkosi is doing the neurons human response to the nervous system, peripheral nervous system. New video, right? New video 21 hours ago, 48 viewers here. So guys, let's go and then let me comment for him. Where can I comment? What can I comment? And then we can subscribe there, right? Can subscribe and then notification. Now since I'm not here full time, let me not do notification. Like since I will be just here, keep passing by here. And then let me so hashtag subscribed, right? Subscribed. This is the name, right? Then we can do an African what there. Just that we don't have an African map. Yeah, kisha data. Ba feature gazolo. Pata. Are life sense kima pepushita. Mr. Pepushi, life sense kima pepu aiman. Pepushita. I want to also place an emoji nyana so that the person will be motivated, guys. This is the motivation that we want, guys. We don't want more, or I'm not talking for him. I don't want more. I just want the appreciation, maybe like the star here, sure. Then comment. Then this is go to motivate him. You can see 0 comments, you can go comment and like, guys. Let's do this for one another, guys, so that we can also be recognized out there. This one is Velelini Nkosi. We have others from YouTube, TikTok, Bo Ilembele teacher, Miss Mangmang, Miss Mangmang, Miss Mangmang. So shout out to you, my guy. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Mr. Mpepu, African transcribers. All of us, we are Africans, and we are transcribing these messages that it is stored inside a DNA Yamo Africa. That is what it's saying, guys. African transcribers from me, Mr. Mpepu. Thank you. Peace. Mraro, Roko. What do we call? Kurula. Zonke, until we meet again tomorrow. We'll do the disease, and we'll do the disease and what, and the activity. Thank you. Sharp.